Tinker Tailor is a spy thriller in its genre, but in fact this film is much less about the whodunit than the sort of world of espionage in that era of the 70s, late 60s, 70s in England and the world. And it's a character-based drama on the theme of loyalty, friendship, sacrifice, and the sort of personal cost of doing something in secret where the victories are small and quiet and often kept from the world, and the costs are very high to those involved. And yeah, it's a film about the thriller element of it is about somebody in MI6, the head of the intelligence service in England, is leaking information, is a mole, and we need to find him before the Russians have secrets which will be devastating to national security. That's pretty much it. Well, lots of things. I mean, it's a fantastic role. There's a lovely character arc to play with him. He starts out as an innocent, and by the end is equally as corrupt and compromised as the masters he's serving. There's a very interesting relationship with Smiley, which is almost paternal. There's a sort of real admiration for this hot war hero in the shape of somebody who became a spy out of the Second World War. Not only was that appealing, but the script was fantastically tight. There was an awful lot of brilliant sort of suggestion and subtext to play. Playing a spy is a fantastically thrilling thing to do, only because you're constantly having to shift masks depending on what company you're in and what a company of actors. I mean, when I heard that Gary was playing Smiley, I couldn't believe my luck at being asked to play his right-hand man. And it's a phenomenal thing to work with a director like Thomas Alfredson. He has such an unusual take, a very direct British / very Swedish, obviously, humour, but he's a master at perversing the obvious. There's no cliche in his work, so that was a huge draw. And meeting him was a thrill, and Le Carre, of course, and the rest of the extraordinary cast I got to play with, from John Hurt to Kathy Burke and Stephen Graham and Tom Hardy. It's an amazing group of actors. Inspiring. It's inspiring to go opposite an actor of Gary Oldman's quality and standing, and he's been an acting hero of mine and my generation since as long as I remember being able to watch films that he was in, as in being old enough because of the certification. But he's unique, and we get on incredibly well. There's no sides to Gary. He's not precious. He's he's an actor who began his life in the theatre like a lot of us do in England, and we've got a lot in common. Which you wouldn't necessarily think of on paper, but we adore each other. I've made a friend out of the experience of working with him, which is a really treasured thing. Well, I think Peter views Smiley as a paternal figure. I think they've got a past as well. I think in the past there's definitely been in some operation where they've relied on each other before, and I think Gwilym looks to Smiley as somebody who defines the ethos and morality of this very slippery terrain that these people work in. He seems to be on the side of the angels, even though he may not be one. He's doing the right thing, and I think it's born out of a loyalty to him, which, like I say, is both to do with the fact that he's clearly fighting the right cause, but also I think probably to do with their past history as people who worked very closely together before Smiley was ousted from the circus. So that loyalty is tested to the full in this, which is paid off in dividends because we get our guy. Don't tell them that. Yeah, the cost of spying, I think, in that era and now as well. Let's not forget. I mean, we journey into work every day on public transport, or eat in restaurants, or sit in theatres or cinemas next to people who have normal lives but may well be working for our governments in a secret capacity. There's a huge amount of modesty and personal sacrifice that involves. And I think for Gwilym, the learning curve is very steep on that front. He realises he has to distance himself from any kind of love, anybody that is dependent on him that could potentially be a weakness or some form of potential blackmail or anything that might take charge of what they're trying to achieve in exposing this mole within a secret service. So it's a huge cost, and I think that was what was really enjoyable about playing the whole character arc, is going from that position of following someone, not blindly, but with great loyalty and trust in the shape of Smiley, and then having at every turn to not only learn that it's not all that it was cracked up to be his job, it's not fighting the right cause necessarily all the time, it could be very confusing, and the cost of that on a personal level is in the end massive. He's heartbroken by it, I think. So emotionally, that turns very, very satisfying to play as an actor, where you have to lose something dear to you as a character is good.